I once lived a life cloaked in darkness, a life I now recount with a soul heavy with regret. I was a man who trafficked the innocent. I would take young girls from orphanages, artificially accelerate their physical growth with injections, and sell them into the shadows of Dubai and Saudi Arabia. My heart was a stone, until the day I laid eyes on a girl who changed everything. One night, looking at her, something shifted within me. I took her to my own quarters. At 2 a.m., driven by a loss of self-control, I committed an act that would haunt me forever. That very night, our buyers from Saudi Arabia demanded more young girls. My associate informed me we needed to procure more from the orphanage. I was lost in thought. I had been keeping several girls, administering low-dose sedative injections daily to make them dependent, ensuring they would obey my every whim before I handed them over to the wealthy for millions. When I checked my inventory, I realized I was short. The demand was for 15, but I only had 12. The next day, I headed to the orphanage. The supervisor there was an old acquaintance, a man who, for the right price, would make children vanish and erase their records. His face lit up when he saw me. He saw millions in my arrival. I demanded girls with fair complexions and delicate features. He smiled and said, "I've been waiting for you. Those who looked like children a year ago now look like young women. And one arrived just a week ago. She is breathtaking. You will be pleased." I nodded, maintaining my cold exterior. Usually, I didn't personally inspect them, but this time was different. I sent my associate to collect them and left for another city to manage the factory I used as a front for my illegal operations. When I returned a few days later, my associate was visibly shaken. "I brought the girls to the hideout," he said. "We've been giving them the special diet and the injections to enhance their beauty. But there is one so beautiful it will make your heart stop." The supervisor had said the same. I brushed it off with annoyance, but he persisted. "Just look at her once, or you'll regret losing a diamond." He knew my pattern. I always inspected the girls before a sale. If one caught my eye, I would keep her for myself first. I was a man obsessed with beauty, a fixation born from a past love who had rejected me, calling me a debauched shadow of a man. Since then, I had sought revenge on every beautiful face I encountered. But when I reached the secret hideout and saw her, I froze. She was barely 12 years old, yet she was the spitting image of the woman I had loved 10 years ago. It was as if a ghost had stood before me. They say everyone has 7 doubles in this world. I felt I was staring at the second version of my first love. She looked at me, trembling with terror. I grabbed her arm and pulled her outside. "I told you," my associate boasted. "She's a masterpiece. Imagine what she'll be when she's older." "Do not look at her," I growled. "I am taking her. She stays with me, and no one else touches her." My friend was stunned. I had used girls before, but I had never claimed one with such solemnity. I took her to my home, a place where I lived alone, save for a loyal 40-year-old widow who had been my housekeeper for a decade. She was a witness to my sins, but never dared to judge. When I brought the child home, even she was startled. I ordered her to prepare a feast, my eyes fixed on the girl. "She stays with me," I told the housekeeper. "I will wait for her to grow, and then I will marry her. Guard her with your life when I am away." The child sat there, shell-shocked and uncomprehending. The housekeeper bathed her and dressed her in fine clothes. That night, as I watched her eat, I felt a surge of adrenaline I hadn't felt in years. I convinced myself that life hadn't ended with my first heartbreak. I had found that face again. I had no intention of letting her go. But that night, my friends arrived. My associate must have tipped them off. They were vultures, accustomed to the free samples I often provided from my shipments. "We came to see the diamond," they sneered. "The girl who finally made you bring work home." For the first time, their crude comments filled me with rage. "She isn't for sale," I snapped, "and she isn't for you. Leave." They mocked me, suggesting I was choosing a girl over a decade of friendship. To appease them, I stayed and drank. Usually, I was careful, but that night, I took a glass. Just one. By 1 a.m., I retreated to my room and locked the door, confident that my presence would protect her. I forgot that when a man invites the devil in, boundaries cease to exist. In my room, a strange restlessness took over. My body felt like it was on fire. I paced, I showered in cold water, but the heat only intensified. There was a knock at the door. I checked, but the hallway was empty. My housekeeper called my phone, whispering that a friend had been lurking near my door, but had gone back to his room. She begged me to let the girl sleep in her room for safety. "Something is wrong," she warned. "Don't let anything happen before you realize what's going on." I refused. I hung up. I looked at the sleeping child. The restlessness turned into a dark, uncontrollable urge. The drug my friends had slipped into my drink, a potent aphrodisiac, had taken hold. I lost my mind. I ignored her screams, her pleas for mercy, her childhood. I tore her world apart. When the storm finally passed, I collapsed into a stupor. When I woke, the room was empty. The girl was gone. Panic set in as the realization hit me. My friends had drugged me. I ran out to find my housekeeper, her face pale. "I searched for her," she sobbed. "Your door was open, the girl was gone, and your friends have vanished." I was a monster, but my friends were predators of a different kind. For years, I had treated innocent souls like toys to be broken. Now, the cycle had claimed the one thing I wanted to keep. My housekeeper looked at me with pure loathing. "You are not a man," she said. "You are a beast. I tried to save her from you, but you wouldn't listen." I spent 3 days frantically searching for them, but they had vanished. On the 4th day, the housekeeper turned on the news. A woman was wailing on the screen, a picture of the girl beside her. The story was devastating. The woman had hidden this daughter from her husband, who had threatened divorce if she had another girl. She had kept the child locked in a storehouse for 12 years. No education, no sunlight, barely any words. To save her from a slow death in that room, the mother had secretly placed her in the orphanage, believing she would be safe. Then came the final blow. The news reported that the girl's body had been found in a sewer. She had been subjected to unspeakable horrors for days before being discarded like trash. From her parents to me, to my friends, every hand she touched had betrayed her. She had spent 12 years in a dark room, only to end up in the hands of a predator like me. She is at peace now, in a world far better than this one. But I am left in a living hell. I wake up screaming. I see her face in every crowd. I pray for death, but it seems that even death, like peace, has turned its back on me. Friends, if you like the story, please subscribe our channel